A full moon rises over Saddle Tor. January, the moon of the wolf. Times passed since the wolves were here, but many trees remember them. On the Tor top, people stand, planting themselves firm as they can on granite. They're not rooted, yet they're high enough to gaze across the moon and send it a simple human wish. Could they stay here and be wild as the wolf trees, live long and strong, where no man, woman, or wolf has left so much as a bone on the surface?
Stones stacked or solitary are the bones of our histories breaking the swell of land as we wade through, reminding us of something deeper than we see. We can try to reassemble their scatterings, read the anatomy of origins where we hold ourselves up from earth to light, raised homes, defined ourselves through boundaries, forged tools to delve and cultivate, carved our initials everywhere. In rain and sunlight, stripped and washed of time's accretions, we see them glint and heave their elemental script, see the bones of our stories in their first shine when ground was yielding and winds soft. And when the climate turned a keener blade to unpeel our securities, we looked down, looked up for other gifts to dig and raise, spoke in the shapes of stones. Across the knotted sea of heath, a granite cross, one arm tilted westward, stamps its stubborn silhouette on space, dials its slow shadow round the base beneath a wheeling sky, the soaring lark, drilled by rain and sun, greened by the patient calligraphy of vegetable growth, but forged in fire and ice. Its blind face outgazes distances, is crushed with the glitter of quartz, the tears and sweat of our endeavours crystallized. You soak it all up, our small confessions, meanderings, accidental spillages. Our young heels dance on your lap, soft as dough. Your old paths keep us safe, enfolding us season by season, until we reach out beyond them. Then you gently pull us back, and we lay ourselves down beside you. Legs that were tightly folded for 11 months still don't quite work in sync, so have a tendency to wobble. The mare's instinct is to lick the newborn clean, though it seems she hasn't learned what to do with her trailing placenta, while the foal, who is now experiencing the first sharp pangs of hunger, has yet to discover where to find milk. And on this wild, cold moorland, there must be at least a hint of regret for the warm security of the womb, in the same way that we can feel homesickness for something we've forgotten or never known as we wobble our way through life.
We, the stones, our long rows aligned, southwest to northeast, point where midsummer's sun dies back to earth, where the precious dead will leave, where midwinter's sun comes back to life, where all your newborn breathe. We, the memory keepers, keep your dead cradled in rock rings, beneath cairns, kistvairns, where heavy lids were once again lifted, ancestor bones greeted by priestess song, tenderly fingered, rearranged, returned to their peaceful beds below. At midwinter moons, under mine black skies, you may hear our songs, high, ringing voices carried by a keening wind, as singing your stories keeps us alive. Singing your memories keeps us alive. Singing as we watch you, listener, pass us by. Never mind the fossil record. The real deal is in the cavities and abscesses where the corpses used to be, just below the skin deep, leaching, unfounded and undone, rinsing their teeth in the drinking water, filtering it through their ribs. Biology and geology symbiose their moves in a 4 million time to shape a palimpsest landscape. A fossil to be subsides into the mire, bloated, diminished. Granite is everywhere and always, boils through the tops, simmers and seethes under the gorse and in the bogs. Faded tattoos and scars on the skin of the moor, contours strangling the summits. Wind and rain have scraped and scoured away everything that wasn't moor and tor, leaving only what is yet to be sculpted. The landscape holds the negative space of what used to be. The artist paints the lichen, and the lichen paints the rock. The gorse drags my legs, and the blood paints my skin.
On spring-greened turf, new foal just dropped, struggles up, birth-dazed from first spill to splay-legged sway. Rest, then staggering a long-legged dance to nourishment, learning to plant feet, hold itself together, push down and up through stumble and recovery, secure a place. Milk-scenting, seeking muzzle, nudges flank, numbed by labour, trailing the pink glisten of the afterbirth, too spent to help. The old mare waits, eyes fixed on nothing, statue still, but shading helplessness. There is patience, there is time, the day wheels slow. For now the clouds are soft, nearby the shelter of a barn. Life will clamber up from sleeping, stretch out through protecting shade, sway dazed in the light a while. The answer to a beckoning from close or farther off, through shifting seasons, sometimes unsteadily but stubbornly, will make its way. There's a leap in the heart of things, precious, precipitous, poetic. Consciousness rises from out of the depth of sleep, like a brown trout out of the womb of wild water. What is the nature of the lure, the attention which flickers into attraction and seemingly towards life? If the line tugs, where will the thread lead? It is so very gentle, the creep of the light, but it doesn't take long for the blackbird, the wren, the thrush, the robin, and all of the rest to join the throng. They have plenty of songs to spare, and a rhythm as sweet as the blossom. May buds become musky scented, as bees shake them free. Light dances on branches in petal. Here time is liquid, and dreams are all for renewal.
Make a model with paper mache, plaster of Paris, clay. Lay out the moor with every tor in the correct proportion to its height, each leat and river valley. Write the name of everything you know. Villages, stone circles, reeves, old mines. Don't forget the stepping stones, the holy wells, the crosses, and don't forget the car parks. Mark visitor centres and public toilets. Use foil to show the reservoirs or paint them blue. Mark the drovers' roads, monks' trails, tinners' paths. Turn your model over. Did you make it hollow, so you can show the unearthing, the tin loads, the mine shafts, how deep in the ground water bubbles and sucks until it streams and rivers out? You must add that somehow. And the buried railways, tunnels, pipes, pumps. Don't forget the morning light as it comes racing out of the sea, the sudden mist coming down, the rain rushing in from the west, hoar frost on winter bracken. Paste on the raven, the cuckoo, the windchat, wild ponies with their sucking foals, and everywhere the grey-faced sheep. Last, you must add the watching. Only you know how it feels and how well it fits.
She flips her hips, slip slide over stones, cold shoulders, nudges over, under, gathers her lace tatters, eddies, pools, spins on herself, runs away, gathers herself up again, tumbles into places where rocks mouth secrets beneath her brown skin. Sometimes she catches herself in a thought, dark, poke-worthy, something to circle and probe, spirals and answer, gallops downstream, face dark as whiskey, face distilled light, shimmies in her white, flicks glitter at air, races ahead of herself as branches thud and knock against her like hearts, chuckles and chucks the stones' faces, then suddenly slows in the wide-skied place, opening eye to eye, a mirror snagged in twigs. Waters run just below the earth, scattered with yellow stars of tormentil. A river's birthing is like a fledgling's lift. In places, you hear grumbling or chanting, and maybe sometimes laughter until when you search through the reeds, you're bewildered to find a rill tripling over stones among ragged robin, bog myrtle, and water forget-me-not. And though the syllables may change, water never forgets. It's a safe nest here, to well from the dark ova of springs.
Who might bring it to me, this scrap of land, abandoned by tinner and tiller, mine scarred, stone drawn, bracken strangled and bog bound? Who might bring me its prickle of gorse, a miner's pack of bread and meat, with a prayer for fine weather to last him a week as he walks out to the wheel emmer leat? Who might bring me a stone-bladed plough to seed a furrow within the reeve? Ask only the tellers of fireside stories, for here on the moor there are no angels. Close your eyes. Fingers in ears. Breathe in deeply through your nose. Smell the fear under the dusty, musky scent of unbrushed, rough-haired horseflesh wild from the moor. Unplug your ears. Listen to the whinnying, snorting, unshod hooves on hard, tramped sand. Open your eyes to the jostling and shying, the whites of their eyes flashing as they skitter, try to hide. The lad in the pen showing off the paces of mares and foals, poking small stallions with his crop. Notice the hard-eyed woman calculating how much.
I don't want to go home, so I head to the old tramway. The granite rocks, the tor my son thinks looks like an orca. A cyclist rises over the claw of the hill, out of the mist, so sure on those pedals. I used to be like that. Now it's enough to walk in drizzle and drifting fog through icy water, past sheep scat. Only the ground is compass. 3 rocks and a path on the left. Remember that for the way back. At the gate, pull the bolt across, snap it shut. Here to choose. Turn and keep walking, brushing through thorns into the hills, or go to those you love. The crane which squats by the glassy water. I want to curl up beside gorse, heather, their blinding yellow and bruised purple buds. Be like them. Unfurl. Begin again.
Until she stood, she could have been a sheep. Her pinafore the colour of a Devon grey-face fleece, her shoes as like to hooves as you might ever see, and her eyes forever sparkling like drops of heather tea. She can run the bog grass like any moorland ewe, hopping clump to clump, as field crickets do. But none, the turning buzzard nor the shy cuckoo, can giggle to the gurgle of the brook like bright Lulu. I saw her in the bottom field. I'm sure that it was she. But as I tried to reach her, she skipped behind a tree. When I got there, all I found was soggy moor and me and a stone chat, a fast jack hare, a jet-black bumblebee. Bone caves, stone coffins, granite walls worn down by time, mine workings long disused, things needed for the life to come, smirched with peat and long-settled earth, roots of plants severed above ground or perished in harsh wind, spent breath of digging animals, insect body cases, flesh of worms, snail shells, crisped spiders, cobweb lattices of spent thought, grief that never saw the light.